The primary way we think in life, it dictates our every move. I mean, yeah, we have free will to choose, but the primary way of thinking is going to dictate our lives as we go through this game of life. Now, the primary way of thinking is more commonly known as your default system, and that's the system that allows you to run on automatic pilot. You don't have to give it any thought when you're using that system, and that system can become dangerous. So, from the time you were born into this world until right now, we've been programming our brain through every experience that we've ever encountered, and we use 6 senses, not 5, but 6 senses to actually do this. And the 6th sense is the most important because that's where the visions of light can come in. That type of information can be quite valuable each time you think about it. The value really comes down to the amount of time that we spend on visualizing that type of information. Your thoughts, if you monitor them consciously, you'll begin to see what you're thinking. Now, Emmett Fox wrote in one of his books a title called The 7-Day Mental Diet, and he says that for 1 week, consciously monitor your thoughts, all of them, and out of all those thoughts, which ones are constructive and which ones are destructive. The statistics that I've researched over the years, they show the majority of people, they think in negative terms nearly 70% of the time. I mean, that doesn't give you really good odds to be your best in life when you're thinking positively in just a mere 30% of the time. Those odds really suck. So if your life is not the way you wanted it, monitor your thoughts for 7 days. Write down your results. If you're honest with yourself, you're then going to begin to see the patterns in your life. I mean, every thought must express itself when it's called upon, and the ones that get called upon the most are the ones that make up the majority of our experiences in life. If there's something that you don't like in your life, something destructive or a bad habit as we call it, find the habit it's attached to and consider what the options would be. Then you can see how to turn that into a constructive way of life. You see? Just remember, you have the power to choose what habits you prefer to live out. That is what free will is all about. That's the great part about free will. When you monitor your thoughts, you're going to see how you show up in life and why you show up the way you do. Now, for an example, if you're following politics right now, it's really ugly, and it's not the best topic to give your energy to these days. So if we focus on that, we will then choose what emotions we wish to express our thoughts through. Now, notice I said thoughts. The thoughts precede the spoken word. Even if we don't say it and we think it, it's the same thing. And I believe it's not so easy to watch politics now, not after everything we're seeing going on here. I mean, there's zero love going on within that reality. And it seems that the only reward that people get for proving someone wrong in politics is that we get to be right. And then we sacrifice love for wanting to be right. No one wants to look bad anymore. No one can admit that they're wrong. I mean, it's ridiculous. And we all are guilty of this. I think being vulnerable is now considered a weakness. If they chopped off all our fingers, people would still find a way to point a finger at you and tell you that you're wrong. I mean, the ego is winning the game of life here on earth. The ego runs the darkness in our life, but it balances out the light. You have to have one with the other. It's the imbalance that screws it all up. And that's why the darkness is winning. There's more of that in the world than the light. It's easy to accept the darkness and navigate through it. I mean, people just want to take a flashlight and use that to navigate through life. I mean, your scope of vision is so limited that way. I mean, how about we take a stand and we be our best at being a lighthouse? Use some real lighting power. I mean, that's when serious change comes into our lives. If you can just become neutral to the darkness within you, you don't have to hate it or get angry with it. Just observe it and become neutral to it. It's going to take practice, though. I mean, it really does. If you can't see your bad habits, your darkness, your ego, you cannot understand the options on what to do with those. I mean, you can't fix a car that doesn't run without knowing all the components that are responsible for making it run. If you want to discover how you run, you do it through the coding of your brain. If a car breaks down, they typically would hook it up to a diagnostic machine to see what fault lies in the computer system, what's causing it to have the problems. Life coding is just like hooking yourself up to a diagnostic machine. It can show you what's broken, and it can show you just how fast it can go. My name's Logan with Brain, Body, Soul. Thanks for watching.
brain, body, soul. Live life from the inside.